Hey everybody, it's Mikey B here with another video to help you with your collection. Today's video is one that's been requested by a lot of people about packaging up cards, and more importantly, how to save some money for shipping. If you're part of this industry, if you're part of this hobby, you know that shipping cards, getting cards back and forth from people can be tedious, tiresome, expensive, but there are some ways to do it right. Most importantly, there's some really great, easy tips to follow to make sure that the cards that you're sending get to the person in the proper condition and in a timely manner. So these are those tips. Now, there are hundreds of videos already out there from people way smarter than I am around the appropriate way to package your cards. So I am merely going to show you guys how I do it. That doesn't mean that it's the best way. That doesn't mean it's the way that'll work best for you. I'm just going to show you what I do. I have not had issues at all with cards arriving damaged. I haven't had issues with the post office and so forth. So I have found that thus far this works extremely well. So take this video for as it is, at least the beginning part when it comes to packaging cards. If you want to fast forward to the later part where I actually walk through how to save some money via postage, at least with the methodology that I use, you're welcome to do that too. So I've got two cards here that I'm going to use as examples for postage. Okay, so one's just a card in a top loader and one's a card in a one-touch because these are obviously the two most frequent way to send cards. I don't, and I would never encourage anyone to send a card without this kind of protection. Cards should have a penny sleeve as well as a top loader at a minimum if you're sending them to people. If you have a hard the case like where you can put like 50 cards in it or whatever, that's a little bit different, but never should you send a card just in a penny sleeve or without any protection at all. That is just a nightmare as far as keeping that card protected, and more than likely it's going to arrive damaged. So everything that you see behind me are all materials that I might use when I'm sending a card. So we've got blue painter's tape, normal Scotch tape, a team bag, a filler card, a business card, and then a couple of different envelopes, right? So let's go ahead and start with how I would prep the card. We'll use the top-loaded card first. So one thing you have to be mindful of, even when these are in team bags, is that sometimes as cards move around, especially if the top loader is larger than what is normally used for the card. So for instance, this is a Contender's Optic card. It's a 75 point. If this was in a 100 point or 130 point top load for whatever reason, it could very easily slip out the top. That's why I'm a big advocate of painter's tape. The nice thing is that you don't really need that much to properly secure a card. You just kind of put it over the top, make sure that it's squeezed nicely, and there you go. That card is never going to come out of that top load with that on there. Now, something that's really, really important to note. Never, ever, 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 ever use Scotch tape on a top loader. One, it looks terrible. Two, to remove the card, you have to basically cut the tape, which means you could potentially damage the top of the card. Three, it leaves a sticky residue, so the top loader is worthless. You can't reuse it or recycle it or anything like that. It's in bad form, okay? So don't do that. Blue painter's tape is not that expensive. You can actually get a very good sized roll at any local hardware store or online. I highly recommend that's what you do. So with your card properly taped, what I would normally do is take my team bag, insert my card. Now here's where people kind of differ in their opinions. Some folks will use cardboard or these filler cards as well as other things within the team bag just so that it's a little bit more rigid. I typically don't. And I don't simply because, one, I don't have a ton of these filler cards. Two, I found it to be really unnecessary. It adds weight, which means it adds postage. You know, it's nice for the packaging, but sometimes then you've got to extra tape it. I've never found that it's that valuable and that much of a value add. A good top loader with a team bag and a nice bubble wrap envelope is going to secure your card just fine. Never ever forget to put a business card. If you don't have a business card as part of your collection, I love using these filler cards or something else And I love to write just like a little personal note. Thanks for the trade, appreciate your business, if it's an eBay transaction. Whatever it is, I always think that a little note is really, really kind of nice to add. I like to add my business card because obviously I want people to know that, hey, I do brakes and yada yada as well. So normally you then peel it, seal it, and then voila, you're done. Now, very, very similar technique when it comes to a one-touch. One-touch obviously highly, highly secured. I still like to tape the top of these because once again, first off, if the card is big enough that it's going to be going in a one-touch, take the extra time to take the, this much tape and just basically make sure that you get from the magnet over the top and out the back. There you go. That puppy is secured. It's not going anywhere. Add it into your team bag. Put your card or your note, whatever. Remove that. Tuck it down. Card is ready to rock. All right. Now, when it comes to actual envelopes, there's a couple of recommendations that I would have. First off, there's different size envelopes for things that you need, right? If you're going to be sending a lot of cards through the mail, what I would do is hop on Amazon, find some of these 5x7 or 7x9 bubble mailers. You can buy them in bulk on Amazon. You can buy them on eBay. You can buy them on Etsy. There are tons of places where you can actually buy these envelopes. They're very expensive if you go to a store. You go to Walmart, if you go to Office Depot or Staples or anything like that, you're always going to spend way more per envelope than if you buy them at those online retailers. So what I like to advocate is, depending on the amount of cards that you have, is which envelope I like to use. So with a one-touch card, I can use this 5x7. It will totally fit in there just fine. But usually one-touch cards I like to send in a 7x9. It really just depends. It doesn't matter. These envelopes are slightly heavier, so it will add to weight, and you'll understand why that's important later in the video. But we could just put our card right here at our one-touch, right? It's properly secured in our team bag. We would pull our adhesive off. We tuck it down. And then I like to do one extra step. Not everybody does this. It's okay, but I found it's kind of nice just for some additional security. I like to take some Scotch tape, packaging tape as it's more commonly referred to as. I like to secure this area, tuck this over, and voila, I have an envelope ready to go. Now, do I need to do that? No, probably not. The adhesive on the envelope should be good enough to secure the card. Just peace of mind for me. It's an extra step. It's not that expensive. You can buy this tape in bulk. Same thing online. I buy mine through Amazon. So it's just a little added security that I like to do. I especially like to do it on the bigger envelopes, as they can sometimes be a little bit more flimsy. So I have my package ready to go. I can either write on there the address or I can put my label. These 5x7s are actually perfect size if you have like a thermal printer and you print a label that way, whatever you choose to do. So you could also put, like I said, if you had a bigger package, you could put it in here and so forth. What you don't need to do, and I see this all the time, is I see people like put something in here and then put it in here and then put bubble wrap on it. I mean, that's way overkill. And I appreciate that you are taking extra precautions when it comes to sending a card. But the fact of the matter is, you're probably spending way too much on supplies when everything I just showed you will be more than sufficient to take a card and send it to whomever. For those that have bigger amounts, like sometimes I send boxes or signed items, there are these larger envelopes that are bubble wrapped. Or I will sometimes use these bags. Once again, these are all things that you can send through the mail. And then what I'll do is, when I put the cards in here, I will also put bubble wrap around them because this one is not lined. Or I will add like packing peanuts or whatever. So I just add a little bit extra protection because this is just a thin layer, and I just want to make sure that everything that's inside there is properly taken care of. Okay, so that's the Mikey B method to sending cards. Anyone who's received a card from me, you're probably saying, yep, that's exactly how he does it, right? So let's talk a little bit about postage, because postage is the #1 thing where you can have additional expense that isn't necessary when it comes to sending your cards and so forth. So what I would do almost every single time when I started was, as I got my package ready, I actually have a little, just kind of like a little, I'm forgetting the word, like, the weight machine. Yeah, all right, whatever. So a scale. There you go. That's the word. I would use the scale, and then that would help me figure out how heavy the package is. That's important because obviously when you know how many ounces your package are, when you're buying postage online, as I'm about to show you, you'll discover that it could be cheaper if you have the appropriate amount of ounces. So don't pay for a 6-ounce package if it only weighs 3. Like I said, you might be saving 25 cents to 75 cents, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that can add up over time. So let me see if this works. I'm going to pull up an internet page here. So this is how I do postage, okay? So if you have a PayPal account, and the vast majority of you probably do because you use that for breaks, you use that to pay for stuff, or you have it for anything else, PayPal has a service that's super, super easy, and it's available right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'll click the address here, even though it's not on it. This is just paypal.com/shipnow. So if you go to that address, this screen will pop up. This service I found is by far the cheapest way to buy postage. So you have this screen, you sign into your PayPal account. Let's say you're sending something, Mikey B. We'll make up an address. We'll go to Michigan. One nice thing is that you'll notice that there's a slot here for email. Now, you don't necessarily have to put an email in there. I know not everyone knows that when they're trading with people or sending them stuff. But the nice thing about doing it is that it will send notifications to the person getting the package, letting them know where it is. So no more, hey, send me the tracking number, or I can't find the package, did it get lost? All those updates will automatically go to the person. So we're going to click ship this address. And now we're in here, so we've got all of our information, right? So this is where it's from, this is where it's going to. You've got various carriers here, UPS, USPS, and Priority Mail. And then you've got services, flat rate. So there are tons of things in here. Let me help identify for you the least expensive method when it comes to just sending a couple of cards. First off, you want to keep it at Priority Mail. And you want to go down here to parcel service, first class mail, parcel service, 2 to 5 days. We are sending just a thick envelope. And now remember, here's where those ounces come in, right? So I've sent a ton of cards before. So I've kind of gotten to know how much a typical card will weigh if it's in a top load versus in a one touch and so forth. If you're sending a single card in a top loader in a standard like 5x7 package like I showed you, 3 ounces is going to be more than enough for what you need. You can calculate the shipping. Oh, I gotta log in. Uh-oh. Let's see if it pulled up all my info again. Nope. I should have checked to make sure that was done. Sorry, guys. All right, so prior to mail, first class, package, thick envelope, 3 ounces, calculate the shipping. Oh, it's going to get really picky on me. I wonder... All right, there's my address if anyone wants to send me anything. All right. There's your shipping cost for a 3-ounce package coming up here. $2.66. That's not really expensive, right? If you have a one-touch, it is most likely going to make your package about 4 ounces, so you can calculate there. Shouldn't add too much to the overall package price. It's still $2.66. Here's the problem. Sometimes people don't check that weight appropriately, or they guess wrong. So look what happens when we just go up to 7 ounces. $3.18. So, almost what, 50 cents more? Like I said, that is going to add up in time. So if you decide that, yes, this is right, everything's appropriate, you can confirm and pay, your label will come up and you can print it right there. Now, what I used to do when I would print something was I had just a normal standard printer, right? The inkjet right here at my desk and so forth. I'd print that label out, I would cut the label, and then I would tape it onto the front of the package. What a huge pain in the butt. I actually found that it was much better to either purchase those stickers that you could use on the printer, or what I use now is a thermal printer, which actually makes things incredibly easy as well. So there are ways that you can save some time on ink and money and so forth by printing. But all the same, you can print your postage right here, tape it or adhere it to your package. You're ready to go. Easy as that. So you don't have to worry about taking it to a post office, especially with the hours as erratic as they are. You don't have to go to like a UPS store or another mail store where you're definitely going to pay a ton more money. You can do it all from home. So paypal.com/shipnow. Follow the instructions. The thing that I like to use if you're sending a bigger package, like let's say you're sending a helmet or a jersey, is, I'll pull my page back up here, is you can still stay with USPS. I like to use this ground service. It weighs 2 pounds, 7 ounces. The package is, let's just say it's 10 inches by 10 inches by 10 inches or whatever. You can calculate here. So once again, I could package something up in a box with packing peanuts and so forth. It's $7.51 to purchase it here. Let me tell you, the first time that I sent a signed mini helmet to someone, I went to the UPS store and I did it that way, and it was like $18. I was like floored. I was like, oh my God, how do people send these? Then I discovered the PayPal methodology, and I was like, oh yeah, that's going to save me a ton. So there you guys have it. Just some quick tips about how to package cards and how to save some money on postage. I hope that you find that helpful. Sorry for the little hiccup there in the video. Obviously, it wasn't ready to go, but you know what? We got to the point one way or the other. So thanks for watching. If you have any other tips or tricks that you'd love to share with the community, please comment down below. I would love to know what you do, especially if it's something different. Anything that you can do to help save money, because I know that the more money I save on postage, the more money I have to spend in the hobby. So please put down there in the comments if you have anything. And don't forget to like the page if you would like to see new and fresh content every single week. Thanks for hanging out with me. Peace out.